what if buildings could clean the air? Like, what if they were actually these giant filters fighting climate change just by existing?
That's a cool thought.
Right. And that's kind of the future that Elena Villarreal is thinking about in her project.
Oh, yeah, Villarreal, the aerogel membranes project, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, in her future, buildings aren't just buildings. They actually help heal the planet.
That's amazing.
It is. It is. And she's doing it. The thing that's so interesting to me is she's using biomimicry. She's looking at nature.
Yeah, nature's pretty good at problem solving if you give it enough time.
Right. So she's drawing inspiration from these like extremophile lichens.
Oh, wow, the ones in like the Atacama Desert and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Those are some tough little organisms surviving out there.
I know, right? The driest desert.
Intense sunlight.
And they're just thriving.
And cleaning the air, too. Like, they're not just surviving, they're making things better.
Okay, so before we go too far, I got to ask, what is aerogel?
Oh, okay, yeah. So aerogel is super interesting stuff. It's basically like frozen smoke is how a lot of people describe it.
Frozen smoke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super light and porous, like basically a sponge, but on a microscopic level.
Okay.
And because of that, it's got this huge surface area.
So a lot of space to trap things.
Exactly. So it's really good at trapping, you guessed it, carbon dioxide molecules,
Right.
like a filter.
Ah, so that's how she's using it, like in the building materials?
Right. So you have air circulating through the building, but as it moves, it's getting cleaned. CO2 is getting pulled out.
So buildings are just silently cleaning up after us, basically.
In a way, yeah.
That's wild. But it's not just about, throwing aerogel on things. Like, her design process is much deeper than that.
Oh, absolutely. And this is where the biomimicry really comes in.
Right.
So she's not just copying the lichen.
Okay.
She's looking at the science, like the actual biochemical mechanisms that let these things live in such a crazy environment. And then she's taking those ideas and turning them into architectural designs
Wow.
with advanced 3D modeling. It's this whole process of research, then modeling, then refining, then back again.
Huh. So she's really thinking about this from all angles.
Totally.
And here's something I find really cool. Like, it's not just the science for her.
Oh, right.
She's really connected to the cultural side of it, too.
Yeah, Villarreal incorporates a lot of indigenous knowledge about the Atacama, like the native plants and animals and how people have understood them for centuries.
It's like she's weaving this traditional knowledge into the future.
Exactly. It's a really holistic way of designing, recognizing how interconnected nature and culture really are.
Yeah.
But, with anything this big, there are always questions.
Right, like what happens when you start messing with carbon on a huge scale?
Exactly. Like, could it disrupt ecosystems? How do we make sure everyone benefits from this tech, not just, certain groups?
These are big questions.